right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Sunday breakdown. Today's is going to be a little bit rushed. I'm going to have to go to the vet here in a little bit. My dog's not feeling well, so we're just going to run through this really quickly. First things first, look at the news events. I think one of the biggest things to look for this week is going to be the all the stuff regarding tariffs. There's a lot of changes happening there, so the markets are going to react in one way or another. Other than that, it's not a terrible amount of news this week. Usually you expect to see a little bit more. Um, but yeah, this week we only have a couple red folders and some orange folders. Seems like Monday's going to be pretty quiet. May not be though because of the tariff stuff, but no actual news events there. But yeah, let's go right into it. We're just going to start off with the Forex pairs. Um, Euro CAD, we took a trade on about 2 weeks ago, came back to break even, and then is now in profit again. We would have actually hit stop loss. A lot of consolidation there. As of right now, I would expect a continuation to the downside. We have a weekly bearish engulfing. We have a daily candle that closed underneath this area of interest right here. And price seems to be retesting this head and shoulders. So this is something that I would keep an eye on. GBP USD so we're bullish on the weekly. We've had a pullback as of right now. We're still underneath this daily area of interest. We have a weekly area of interest right here, which we are above like that. So we're above this weekly area of interest. One, two, three, four structure points. Well, actually, we're kind of inside of or below the weekly area of interest. So this one might take a little bit longer to set up. Weekly, daily is bullish. Could see something like this happening, but until we do, I'm just going to stay away. Same thing here. We kind of have this daily, weekly push to the upside, pull back into previous structure. I'm expecting to see a continuation here as well once price rejects this area of interest. USD CAD, same thing. We have a lot of selling pressure, pullback, selling pressure, another pullback. I do expect to see another continuation happening here. So realistically, all of these USD pairs should sell off pretty significantly, I would say. Um, Kind of looks like this in terms of price action, where we had selling, pull back, and then more selling. So we could probably target this daily structure point right there in terms of take profit zone. Um, I would keep an eye on USD CAD, another CAD pair that would be selling um, there as well. So next is CAD CHF. We'll go ahead and put the CHF pairs down here. We'll come back to those. Um, Weekly time frame is bearish, pull back into the area of interest. Daily time frame is bullish as of right now. Not really interested. We're at the higher high. Not interested. Um, Not really interested in this one either. We haven't really seen the continuation we would want to see on Euro NZD. We're at the lower low here. On GBP AUD, we missed this entire move to the downside. Another USD pair here, kind of choppy, weekly bearish engulfing. Weekly time frame is bullish, but not really interested in that. AUD CAD, we're at the higher high, not interested. GBP CAD, very, very choppy. As of right now, I'm not interested. NZD CAD, also very choppy. Try to stay away from these types of moves because we could literally end up inside of something like this for a long, long time. So not interested there. We're at a lower low here. This one has a little bit more structure to it. Weekly time frame is clearly bullish there. Daily time frame is also clearly bullish. I would probably expect a continuation to the upside on AUD USD. Yeah, so this one is one that we could potentially look to trade. Not really loving structure wise where we are, kind of at the highest point in the market, but in terms of a daily standpoint, we are in in this type of a situation where we have pulled back and we're looking to continue to buy out of this area. So keep an eye on that one. Not interested on this one. Lower low. Weekly time frame here is bearish. Daily time frame is bullish. Not interested. JPY pairs. JPY pairs shifted bearish here, bullish, technically bullish. Here we've shifted bearish on the weekly time frame. We've shifted bearish on the weekly time frame. Nothing here. And so we got a lot of mixed signals here. In my opinion, just by looking at the market structure, we're going to continue to sell. Looks like a selling indication and then a pullback into previous structure for a continuation to the downside. Switching this to sells. Here, same thing. You can see how clearly we're buying. Huge candles, pullback, small candles, huge candles, small candles, big candles, small candles. And then you kind of see how the momentum has shifted to the downside here. So we would expect a continuation after that. Same thing on most of these. It seems like the daily time frame has shifted bearish and now wants to sell. So this one is kind of in the middle. But yeah, out of all of the JPY pairs, I would say for selling, Euro JPY looks the best. You have clear structure, clear head and shoulders, retest of the neckline. I would look to sell that. CHF JPY, not terrible. Weekly time frame is bullish, however. This one's also not terrible. We have shifted underneath the EMA, but it is very, very choppy on the 4-hour time frame. Very, very choppy. Weekly time frame is bearish, daily time frame is bearish, and 4-hour time frame is bullish. So here we could probably get a clean move to the downside, USD JPY. We could also look to sell. Moving on, CHF pairs. CHF has been making a pullback, it seems, on the weekly time frame across most of these pairs here. I like NZD CHF. Seems like we have a bit of a pullback. Looks like we're in this type of a situation right here where price is slowing down on the weekly time frame and we'll probably like to sell pretty soon here. We also have this bearish engulfing weekly candle, and the candle that follows is a doji with a big wick to the top side. Here we have a doji with a wick to the top side. So I could probably expect to see pull back. We're above the EMA. If we get a bearish engulfing, that could be pretty fantastic. Let's see. Under the EMA, pull back, sell. And here we're also underneath the EMA. Market structure is creating a reversal pattern. So yeah, NZD CHF, I would also look to sell. Let's see if there are any other good good looking trades. Euro CHF is kind of at the lower low. Haven't had much of a pullback here. Not even sure what's happening. Here we've had a decent pullback, and here we're at the lower low. So it would have to be one of these here. I do like USD CHF. USD CHF for sells. Okay, so this would conclude the Forex part of what we're looking at. Euro CAD, going to be looking for sells underneath our area here, basically sold underneath the EMA, retested EMA, rejected EMA, and are looking to continue to sell, maybe a break and retest to continue to sell. Overall, it seems pretty good just for a continuation. We obviously want to see a weekly wick be created, but the wick can be pretty small. There's no necessarily like we don't necessarily know how big the wick could be. It could be as big as filling up this 4 hour body, or it could retest the EMA one more time. But the idea will be a pullback to sell on the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is currently bearish. USD CAD, we are seeing a bit of rejection and consolidation. 4 hour time frame is still currently above the EMA, but once we start to shift, we might see something like this happen where we sell into the EMA, then we pull back into the other EMA and then continue to sell. So it'd just be a kind of a break and retest of some sort within this area right there. AUD, USD, going to be looking for buys basically above this area of interest. So a break and retest to buy on the 4 hour time frame. Euro JPY, break and retest underneath the EMA to sell. USD JPY, break and retest underneath the structure to sell. NZD CHF and USD CHF would be nice to see a daily bearish candle here. So a daily bearish engulfing or something like this, where we have a doji bearish engulfing and then a continuation. So this one might need a little bit more, but it's also technically just a 4 hour break and retest. And then that daily bearish engulfing candle would basically be the 4 hour closing here. The 4 hour pullback would be the next daily candle wick, and then the continuation to the downside would happen that same day. So kind of like this, creating a head and shoulders, pullback, and then a sell. So everything here is basically break and retest to sell, except for Euro CAD. Euro CAD would probably just be a pullback to sell, break and retest to sell, break and retest. Same thing here, here, and here. In terms of other things, Bitcoin is still selling underneath the weekly EMA, underneath the daily EMA. I think that we're kind of getting a little bit of a squeeze here, where price was consolidating sideways in order to allow the EMA to catch up to it, and then we'll probably just continue to sell from there on out. I can't even give you my opinion on NASDAQ, US 30, gold, and silver, because the tariffs will basically create a lot of volatility inside of these markets. But if it was my thoughts just based on market structure, we are bullish on the weekly, we are bearish on the daily, still underneath the daily EMA. Let's see. I mean, realistically, probably just going to be selling. Daily is bullish. Pullback. So the daily is bullish here, weekly is bullish here. I don't hate it for buys, but you do quite often see stuff like this happening where you get a bullish candle, bearish candle, and then a pullback candle, which could be kind of like this right here. You have a selling candle, pullback candle, continuation, pullback candle, continuation. Just kind of happens whenever the market is about to turn around and sell. So, in my opinion, I think that sells are going to be the better option until price like closes successfully above this point right here, in which case we will probably continue to buy. Gold and silver, I think that they're just going to recover. I think they're going to recover to the upside. Um, yeah, unless all of the news stuff that's happened with tariffs is going to affect this. But usually when that happens, price actually continues to go higher rather than lower. So yeah, I think that we are basically going to continue to push all-time highs on all-time highs on gold and on silver. Obviously, probably not going to happen this week. But we do see a bullish engulfing weekly candle on silver and a nice continuation candle on gold. Same with the monthly. Monthly came down, created a wick, and is probably going to close with a nice body to the upside. Um, Same thing here. Looks like we still have quite a bit of room to go to fill in that wick right there. Might take a month, might take 2 months, but in my opinion, we are going to continue to go higher. But that is basically it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck trading this week. Make sure to manage your risk accordingly. I would recommend to just wait, see what the markets do on Sunday night, and then maybe enter something on Monday or Tuesday. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.